yaruatu to kari toi ki amnato huko jam o sikor am o pichami taimo huko jam o churashanaimo ka thu karu yata jaruatu to kari toi ki amnato huko jam. That May song, my mom told me about that song to learn and sing that song when we make maize baskets. So I did. I learned it from my mom.
Well, Native people have been making basketry for thousands of years, but in the last 100 years or so, 150 years in the Southwest, federal policies and practices have made a huge impact. On families, obviously, when children were taken away from home to go to attend boarding schools, that disrupted family life and that education of teaching. Also, federal control and policies of reservation lands impacted what lands and areas people could access, the materials that they could gather, where their farming and gardening might be, irrigation projects. So the impacts of policies have been pervasive across land, across communities, and across families.
The plants that we use here in Salt River to make baskets, we have river willow, that's for the white part of the basket, the part you see in the design. And the cattail. The cattail is the part that's like the stuffing of the basket, or the inside is what you don't see in a completed basket. The devil's claw, which is also the part of the designing process, the basket part. And the majority of the baskets that were made a long time ago mostly had the devil's claw bottom because it's really durable. It's kind of like leather, and it doesn't get damaged easily. So those are the three materials we use.
There's four main materials that we use in Tohono basketry. We have yucca, which is the primary material, which is the white that you see in the baskets. Bear grass, which is the foundation of the basket that builds the basket up. We have green yucca. That's yucca that's picked in the wintertime. So it keeps its green color. Then we have black, which is the devil's claw. Red root, which is the red color that is a root of a yucca plant. So those are the main colors that we use in Tohono baskets.
I think it's absolutely one of the most beautiful art forms that the community has, and I think it symbolizes so many different things. Coming from California, I think the materials that are used are so much easier than the materials that O'odham women have used. The devil's claw is a very, very difficult, hard plant to get used to and to use. Gathering the cattail, it's much more challenging. So to me, that kind of shows the perseverance, the ingenuity, the ability to adapt and use everything in your environment to survive, but not only to survive, to thrive.
Well, rivers are, it's important to us because it's our, it's our himdak, our way of life. It's who we are, our ancestors fought for it. Without water, it's not essential. We can't survive without the water, and, it's important. I think it's one of our most important elements that we need to continue as O'odham people to fight for, preserve, and maintain. And like for the basket, it gives us all our materials, and without it, we're not going to have any materials without the water and all what we have out here.
A lot of these were longer and taller, and I'm not sure if it's because of what's happening to the environment, global warming and all of that stuff. It's caused them to be like stunted, because I don't see them really long anymore. So I'm not sure if that's what's happening here. We still try to go ahead and pick them at the right season.
Much of Native life, I think, has been seen as very dangerous by federal authorities and U.S. society generally. Native religions have often been at the top of that list, Native languages, but certain aspects of Native life were seen as safe, as valuable. Basketry often was one of those cultural, artistic traditions that was seen as beautiful and therefore safe. Also, I think because basketry in many communities was an art of women. And women's labor, women's production, particularly in white society, was seen as something that belongs in the home, it's nurturing, it's safe, not as competitive, for example, as men's labor in the waged market economy, but women's labor, something that supported their families.
I like coming to the basketry class just because it's open. Just being able to talk to elders or youth or other people like me that want to weave, learning new styles, learning new techniques, and then just seeing the baskets, seeing what people start and seeing what people end with when they bring them. And it's just amazing to see what people have gone through and how they made their baskets. Are you leaving? Oh, you gotta go back to them.
I learned to weave from my grandmother, Audrey Santo, and my mother, Alice Manuel.
My teachers have been all the weavers in the weaving circle.
There are very big differences in Indian country between the early 20th century and now, the early 21st century. One of the biggest differences in education, in schooling, is who controls that? Who makes the decisions of where and how Native children and adults are going to learn? In the early 20th century, it was the federal government. Now it's much more tribes, tribal communities, Native parents, Native people, Native students. That change in power is immense. It's very important that people have choices now they simply did not have 100 years ago.
Was it hard to do the beginning?
And they're choosing to learn about their traditional cultural language. They're making those choices to bring that into the future.
cơ sở chưa nó kê mò chờ để mò cô nhớ cái ta mà nó yêu ra na he cơ sở to ta chưa anh ta mò đi mò ta cơ sở chưa nó kê mò chờ để mò cô nhớ cái ta mà nó yêu ra na he cơ sở to ta chờ anh ta mò đi mò ta